everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jennifer and welcome to the something to hey feisty Festivus. You know, if I do this next year, and it's very unlikely that I'm going to do this next year, I think next year I'll do like 12 days of Christmas or something, because filming every day, I don't know how people do it. But anyway, if I did it next year, I would do a better job of keeping track of what day each video is, because to be honest with you, I have no idea what day this is gonna go up. But what I do know is today we have a eclectic group of things that we're gonna talk about and play with. First, I received my new Sonia G brush holder. So you can, is that all in there? There we go. That's why we're back a little further today, guys. I wanted you to see the brush holder in all its glory. It is absolutely breathtaking. It's beautiful. And I want to show you in comparison the sizes. So this one is obviously shorter, but also you can see the thickness. So this one has a row of 5, and then this one has 2 rows of 4. I mean, they're both stunningly beautiful, and they both, you know, hold on my brushes. So I'm not saying one is better than the other. They're both gorgeous. So I also got the Kayaki brush set. So these are the new ones. They're all here, and I'll go into some detail. Let me see if you can see the handle and everything up close. Now, I will go into some detail about each one of the brushes. I also picked up the micro towel. So I got the whole set, microfiber. These are great for, you know, wiping off your brushes in between like looks and everything. So it's really, really nice. Okay, so in this set, we have the flat definer, which is this one. And this is the flat definer in the sky. You can see the length difference. And then we have the mini booster, which you know I use all the time if you watch my channel. Pull that one out. Mine's become a little fluffy. Not super fluffy, but. Then we have the jumbo blender, which I also have somewhere. Where's the jumbo blender? It's part of the problem though. I have so many brushes now. Jumbo blender. So these are, of course, undyed. You can use them with creams. You can see the length differences. Then we have the mini base, which is a complexion brush, creams, liquids, powders. And then we have the classic face, blush, contour, bronzer, highlighter, you know, all that good stuff. To give you a comparison, here's the Designer Pro brush. They're similar. This one's the Designer Pro is rounder. Classic Cheek, definitely like poofier. Wayne Goss airbrush, I think it's called the airbrush, has a similar shape. I'm just trying to think of what other one I have that's a similar shape. No, I have one. I mean, I have face brushes, obviously, but shape-wise, those are the closest. Yeah, those are the closest. Now, you saw how much bigger the Sky sets are, and even my short brushes are still longer. So there's a few that are close, though. This is a Z, I think it's an 11, Chikuhodo eyeshadow brush. It's about the same length, height, whatever you want to call it. The FO brushes, the Chikuhodo FOs, are also about the same. I mean, they're a little, see, about the same height. And then the Kyoto, this is Kyoto, I think so. Professional series, again, is even shorter. So these are small, but I do have brushes like this professional series which are shorter. So I just wanted you guys to see that. I am going to be using those brushes today so you guys can see how they work. I mean, I'm going to assume they're going to work just as well as all of her other brushes. On my face today, I do have my brows done. I also have on the Surratt Perfectionist Primer. I'm trying it again. If you saw my video that went up, which day was that? I don't know, earlier this week. I'm not sure. But I talked about this primer and how I was having difficulty. I tried it with the Huda Beauty foundation, did not work. I tried it with the Chanel foundation, did not work. Today I tried it with the Kojendo Aqua foundation. It seems to work well. I actually think it looks nice. Also, I did it a little differently. I didn't put any skincare down. I just put this on directly and then I waited a while. So it could be the foundations. It could be that you just have to wait for it to sink in. My skin just might be that way. I might have to wait a little while. It may be that it didn't react well to my moisturizer. Don't know. But at the moment, it looks great. No issues. I'm not getting those polka dot pore things that I had before. So I'm definitely, I'm going to keep trying the primer out. And I want you guys to know, I do that with all the products that if I try something it doesn't work, I don't just put it aside and go, well, it didn't work and that's it. I continually try them. If they continually don't work, I generally don't come back and say anything because I'm gonna assume that you saw the video where it didn't work and then I never brought it up again, so that probably means it's not something I'm using. If I've changed my mind and I figured out a way to make it work, I will let you all know. I've also been thinking about doing a worst of 2020, the things that I didn't like, or at least the things I liked the least. Let me know if you want to see that. I try not to do too many of those. What I mean by that is I do favorites and fails. I'll let you know if something was really bad, like if it didn't work, so that you don't go out and buy it. But generally, I don't put together a whole list of things that are just bad because I'm trying to think of a way to do it without just being negative because, you know, some people can do it and they're funny and they have a great sense of humor and they can really, you know, play it off in a way that will make you laugh. I'm not sure I can do that. I think it would be 20 minutes of being like, this was awful, this was awful. So anyway, let me know what you think and I will do what you guys want me to do. Ears, courtesy again of Eileen at A Merch Beauty. The little jingle bells, yes, I jingle when I walk. Also, Eileen at A Merch Beauty. So if you guys aren't checking out her channel, you really should. She's incredibly sweet. We've become very, very good friends over not that long. Geez, I think I've known her 6 months, 7 months, and we've become very good friends. We've yet to meet in person, of course, because of, you know, everything that's happening. But she's incredibly sweet and sent me all these very cool holiday accessories. Also, I wanted to mention, and if you're a close friend of mine, you're probably gonna get one of these in the mail, but by the time this goes up, they will have already been sent, so I think it's okay. Eileen, in her third job, because she has a very, very busy, very important day-to-day job, and then of course she has her channel, but she's also somebody who like crafts, which I don't understand how she does these, but she creates these cards, these like, she does, these are her holiday cards. She does more than just holiday, like she'll do birthdays or anything, but obviously the holidays are, you know, the most popular time is when people buy the most. And I bought like, I don't know, 10 or 11, I can't remember how many cards I bought from her to send out to folks for Christmas and for the holidays. And each one is different. So now it's too late for you guys to order from her this year, but it's the perfect time to think about next year because it does take a really long time for her to make them because each one is individual. So if you like to do something, if you're like me and you want like cards that are different and unusual and really unique, Eileen is your girl. I had to put a little plug in there because I just think it's amazing that she makes those because I could never do that. So in addition to all the Sonia G stuff that I picked up, I also picked up the remaining Wayne Goss blush palette, which I did not have. This is in Bright Poppy, so we'll use that today. It was the only one I didn't own, and I was just like, I might as well. I mean, you know, why not have all four? And the rest of the look today will be Scott Barnes. So I bought the Marshmallow World lip glosses. I guess they're called lip glosses, something like that. They're 24 months, so I thought, okay. I was like, okay, 2 years, that works. Hopefully I won't be wearing a mask in 2 years. I picked up 3 of the lip pencils, Cindy, Christy, and Linda. Obviously I won't wear them all today, but at least I'll show them to you. I picked up the Glam palette, the Glamazon palette. It still hasn't shipped, so I don't know what that's about because I ordered it quite some time ago. So I have to find out where that is because it's odd that it still hasn't shipped. I have his contour palette from forever ago, so we can use that as contour and maybe like bronze. And then I have the Scott Barnes Mesmerize eyeshadow palette. There was a moment, I admit guys, that I was going to pick up the whole, you know, the whole box set that he had. I really was very close to doing it. And a number of my friends, I basically reached out to them and said, I'm thinking of doing this, please stop me. And they did, which was good. Not because I dislike Scott Barnes, his products are, everything I've ever used by Scott Barnes I've liked. It's just that I don't need that much makeup right now when I already have so much makeup that I don't even use. So let me bring you in a little bit closer. That's what you need in your life, guys. You always need that group of friends who are like, don't do it. Don't buy it. You have too much as it is, which I do. Okay, so I think what we'll do is we'll use one of these shades to like bronze up my face a little bit and one to contour. Maybe Carve to contour, and then we'll use something like Snatched, the names, to warm up my face a little bit. I know that this is a contour palette, so technically it should all be contour, but you know, we'll see here. We'll see what the shades do. Let's use Carve. Carve is a shade that has like a nice pinky undertone. It's a cool tone. That's generally what you want in a contour. I'm gonna use the mini base. Let's just see how that works. That's generally what you want in a contour because when you're contouring your face, you're basically creating hollows. So think of it as where you want it to look receded. So if you want to build out like a higher cheekbone, you build here, it recedes, this pops out, and you look like you have a higher cheekbone or a more defined cheekbone than you have. You know, that has been the secret of pretty much everybody. Especially lately. You know, in the 80s, basically you did this with blush. And if you don't know what I'm talking about because you're too young to remember the 80s, what are you still doing up? No, I'm just kidding. No, but what you used to do, literally, is you would take blush and kind of put it like this, and it would create a contour, believe it or not. Which is, you know, a little strange looking back because you're like, why did I contour my face with pink? But it did work. It served the same purpose. You just had a very, very strong blush line. So you can see that carved out, and the name is Carve, that carved out a nice cheekbone there. So the way that, you know, you do it is basically you find like where your cheekbone is, put your fingers in, kind of see where that line is, and then carve underneath that. Then you can do the same thing with your nose. You can, you know, kind of try to make it look thinner, wider, whatever you feel, whatever you don't like about your about your nose. Nobody likes their nose. I don't know why, but it's a thing. Then I'll take, I want to be careful because I don't want to go too dark. Some of the shades in here are, you know, quite a bit darker than I would like to go. All right, let's take Frame. Frame is this shade here. And I'll be careful with it because again, it is darker, and it also, it is more cool tone, but it's not so much so that it will be a problem. It kind of looks more like a Gucci bronzer. It has that cool toned redness, which actually for me, I prefer in a bronzer, as long as it's got some warmth to it. If it's completely cool, then it doesn't look right. Then it just looks like, you know, you went crazy with your contour. Although, you know, a lot of people do that. There's a lot of people who in my opinion, just my opinion, overdo their contour. You know, your face is your face. I believe makeup is meant to enhance the things that you have, to bring out what you feel is your best you. Hiding your best you or trying to make yourself look like a totally different person, unless you're doing something like editorial, like you're doing something for fun to look like someone else, which is fine. Every day, I don't know, I feel like you're not really accepting yourself for who you are, and whoever you are is beautiful, and you know, don't try to be someone else because no one needs to do that. You just don't. All right, we're gonna use this. Now I'll tell you, this definitely does look bright to me, but again, Eileen at A Merch Beauty, you're sensing a theme on this video, told me that I can wear this. So I'm gonna believe her. That's the highlight, that's the blush. But I am gonna choose to go in with my Wayne Goss artist brushes, which are very, very soft brushes when I do the highlighter, because this looks like a pretty gold, like, highlighter to me. So let's just, yeah, that's fine. I had someone ask me like why I do that, like why I use such a soft brush for the highlighters and why I don't like highlighter, which is not what I was trying to say, because it's not that I don't like highlighter. I like highlighter. Highlighter has its place, and again, like, you know, contour, which is bringing that part of your face back, highlighter is going to bring it forward. So it has an absolute place in your makeup look. The reason though I don't like a ton of highlighter is because I'm 48. When you're 48 or older, for those of you who aren't, you'll know what I'm talking about. This part of your eye, like this area right here, you know, no matter how great you take care of your skin or how healthy you are, how much water you drink, how much you stay out of the sun, this area of your eye is the area that shows the age first. That and your neck. I hate my neck. But so drawing attention to it can be tricky. You want to highlight your face and show like the shine here and bring the look up. But if you get too much highlighter in this area, all it's gonna do is accentuate lines. It's just gonna show that you have lines, which you know you have. There's nothing wrong with having the lines. It's just like, I don't need to be like drawing an arrow to them. So if you do a diffused highlight, in my opinion, it looks better. Also, I don't have a lot of texture on my face. Actually, I'm pretty lucky. I have very little texture on my face, but where I do have texture is like right in this area here, again, because I'm 48. Again, that's the same issue. All right, so for the cheek, for the blush, we will use the classic face brush, the new one. Why not try that? I just will go in light with the blush. Yeah, I mean, again, it's all about what you like. I mean, there are people who have textured skin who very much use products that draw attention to that, and they don't care. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like if you don't care, or if the way you see it is, you know, that's part of your skin and that's who you are, and it doesn't bother you, that's fabulous. I am bothered by the lines around my eyes. I wish they weren't there. But, you know, again, it is better than, I mean, aging is, you know, a natural part of life, and there's no point in pretending that it doesn't happen. So I do prefer like the Wayne Goss products, his blushes and highlights, because I feel like his products don't settle into those lines. They tend to glide over them for the most part, which really works for me. And it's one of the reasons I don't like shimmery blushes very often, because again, if I'm gonna have texture, it's gonna be like right in here where the rosacea is. So I actually think that looks really pretty. Eileen was correct. Thank you, Eileen, you were right. Should have bought it earlier. I have Vivid Azalea. That thing is like pink. Okay. So let's look at the lip pencils. They come in these very elaborate boxes. I could do with a smaller box, but that's just me. Just because I'm like, well, now I have to throw away a bunch of boxes. 24 months again on the pencils, which I think is really great. It is really nice to have something that's gonna last a really long time. You know, I keep things a long time anyway. It's not like I would just throw them out, but still, it's nice to know that the time is 24. So they come with sharpeners, each one. And if you're not familiar with Scott Barnes, he's the makeup artist. He's J-Lo's makeup artist. Kind of became famous for that body bling, that's it. But has great contour products, and I have his, I think it's Natural. I think that's what was the name of it. Eyeshadow palette, which I actually really like. His products have everything I've ever tried has been really good. Okay, so this is Christy. These are named after famous models of the time. Christy Turlington, I think. This is Linda, which is Linda Evangelista, who I wanted to look like when I was young. And then Cindy, I believe this is Cindy, yeah, which is, of course, Cindy Crawford. So we have Christy, Linda, Cindy. And if you look at these shades and you think to yourself, wow, those all look like shades Jennifer would like, now you're starting to get probably where I come up with a lot of my aesthetics from, because these are models from the 90s, and I was in my 20s in the 90s. So the brownie pinks call to me, probably because, I mean, it probably does have something to do with the fact that, you know, I sort of put together my aesthetic in those years, 80s and 90s. Like, that's why I probably still like, you know, blue eyeshadow. All right, the Mesmerize eyeshadow palette. Ooh, as I knock things over. Okay, so this is the palette. Let's see if I can get it to the light. There we go. And, you know, these shades are all intense shades, right? I mean, yeah, I think you all know that. They are Panther, Black Lava, Titanium, Liquid Mercury, Molten Gold, Infinity, Smoky Topaz, and Rose Quartz. So they're all like, you know, you can see the panther and then the eyes. That's kind of cool for the cover. I do kind of like that. So anyway, they look really beautiful. And I have to tell you, when this first came out, I wanted to buy it right away, but it was $120, and I was like, $120 for eyeshadow when I have a lot of eyeshadow. So I didn't buy it, but then I got this one on sale. I think it was like 30% off. I'm not absolutely sure. So that's why I picked it up, to be honest with all of you guys. All right, let's go through the shades. I'll swatch them for you. So I'm not sure why, like, there's so much more of this one than these, but we'll get into that in a minute. Okay, so this one's Panther. Ooh, they're very soft. So this shade is a very deep blue, like with a black shift to it. Next one, Black Lava. Again, very soft. I mean, it feels like creamy powder. All right. Then Titanium. It's gonna break into song, but I won't do that. Liquid Mercury. Yeah, these are really beautiful, guys, I gotta say. I mean, that's okay. Molten Gold. I know you can use these wet, but honestly, why? I mean, these are basically wet the way they are. Infinity. Jeez. Okay. Smoky Topaz. These are really nice. And Rose Quartz. Well, they're all beautiful. Okay, now the question becomes, which ones do I use? I mean, they're all gonna be super glittery, like blah. I mean, they're gonna be out there no matter what I do here. Let's go in with a classic crease brush and that Panther shade, which is that deep blue. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use that as kind of a transition. This is gonna be one of those palettes that I feel like I'm gonna probably end up using in addition to other palettes, because it's gonna be so like over the top. But I think that's the point of it, right? I mean, I think it's supposed to be over the top. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I picked up like the tiniest amount on my brush, and even that was too much. So I'm like spreading it over both eyelids on the outside. Yeah, this is incredibly pigmented. Wow, okay. I mean, if you couldn't tell from the swatch on my hand, it's incredibly pigmented. And the shade is really pretty. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay it down with this classic crease. I'll clean up afterwards because I'm getting, not fallout, it's just so pigmented that the brush, because the brush is big, I'm gonna have to like clean on the outside of my eye, but that's okay. If you're trying to do like a very diffuse look and you don't mind it being on the outsides, then don't worry about it at all. But either way, you can clean it up afterwards. You just, you know, you get a concealer or just go over it with your makeup sponge and clean it up. Or you can use eye guards to begin with, and then you won't even have that problem. If you don't know what an eye guard is, it's basically tape that you put on your eye, and so it stops you from getting makeup in this area here where I was talking about earlier with where all the lines are. Yeah. Let me go in with a much smaller, more detailed brush. This is the Chikuhodo FO7 brush, and I'm gonna go in with that black. What would he call it? Oh, I forgot the names of everything, guys. Black Lava. Yeah, this is also incredibly pigmented. Well, you know, I'll say this. I still think $120 for this amount of like shades is expensive, but I get it. The formula on this, I mean, these are ultra pigmented shades. If you ever feel like you buy a palette and the shades aren't, you know, you don't get a lot of payment, like a lot of payoff, and they're not pigmented enough, yeah, you're not gonna feel like that with this. Wayne Goss number 3. Yeah, these are super pigmented. I can tell you, I never had eyeshadows like this in the 90s. Maybe they existed, I didn't have any. All my makeup in the 80s and 90s was like CoverGirl. Not that there's anything wrong with CoverGirl, but it was not pigmented like this. Let's just get that out there. Because it wasn't. It just wasn't. Wow. Okay. So I've diffused it out, but I mean, guys, I used very little. Very little. I kind of want to use rose quartz. Something's obviously happened to me lately. I've been wanting to use pink. I don't know what's wrong with me. But that's what we're going to use. Let's just try it. I'm going to use my finger. Well, I don't know, guys. I think that's sparkly enough. Let's go over it with, let's use the flat definer and go in with, let's go with titanium. Yeah, I don't know what to say, guys. I mean, like, these are really, they pack a lot of punch, I will say that. Let's take the, liquid, what is it? Molten gold. Just put it on the inner corner of the eye. Wow, these shades are like, okay. Yeah, all right. Let's take the Wayne Goss number 5. We'll go in with, was it Panther? Again, I'm gonna use not a lot of it because we saw what happened. Let's go in with the titanium as well on the lower lash line. Wow, that's about as like sparkly as you can get. If you guys are looking for a palette that is like just out there shimmer, this is the palette for you. Let me bring you in close so you can see this. I mean, that's very shiny. Yeah, let me put on some mascara and we'll be right back. Okay guys, here is the final look with mascara, and I think you will agree that it's pretty impressive. I didn't use any of the pigments wet. I went in lightly with the brush. I can't even imagine if I didn't, like how strong some of these shades would be. Okay, so for lips, let's go in with, I think I'll use the Christie lip pencil. I have to say, I really do like the pencils. The shades are right up my alley, as we talked about. And I picked up 3. I don't remember how many there were. There were quite a few. So I might pick up more of the pencils because I really like the shades. And the feel of them, they feel creamy, but they also feel like they're not gonna like bleed. You know, a lot of times with lip liners, they kind of bleed if they're too soft. Sicily and the Chanel are still my favorite, but this is really actually very nice. All right, so let's pull out the Marshmallow World lip glosses. Diamonds. So these have a brush. Wow, that is shiny. Okay. It's like the eyeshadow palette. Opulence. Ooh. Like an opal shift on that one. French vanilla. I like French vanilla. I like all of these. I mean, the first two are definitely more like sparkly shades. French vanilla is more like cream. Gilded. Oh, that one's pretty too. And gold flake. Oh, this one has like little pieces of glitter in it. Okay. I think I'm gonna use the Opulence one. Why not? Okay guys, it's definitely sticky, but I gotta tell you, it looks really pretty on. It is definitely, even the glosses, you can tell, it's a definite aesthetic. Like this is a glamazon is actually a really good way to explain what all of this is. Like it's very over the top, it's very shiny, it's very shimmery, it's very glowy, but it's really pretty. It's pretty much the polar opposite of, say, Jones Road, which is Bobbi Brown's new line, or Westman Atelier. I mean, it's the opposite of a neutral, everyday, go to work look. This is a, I am going to a party. This is New Year's. This is, I want to be noticed like immediately. And I will admit, it's not generally like my look, like my aesthetic, but you know what? It's fun. Like the eyeshadows actually look really nice. They're not accentuating any texture. They're not in the lines. They're not doing anything weird. They blended beautifully. Yeah, they're super shiny and glittery, but they're pretty. So I'm thrilled to have the final Wayne Goss blush. I'm thrilled to have the brush holder and the new Sonia G brushes. I hear Wayne Goss is coming out with a powder. Excited about that. The Scott Barnes, everything I picked up, I'm really liking. The Mesmerized palette, guys, if you can get it on sale, the pigments are impressive. It absolutely is, in my opinion, a additional palette. It's something that you're gonna use, like, I think, you know, one or two of the shades in addition to something else. But maybe you're gonna do what I did today and come up with this kind of look. Maybe that's your thing. It's definitely pigmented, it's definitely shimmery, but really beautiful. The pencils I really like. I really, really like the pencils. The glosses, they are very sticky and they're kind of over the top, but again, I think that was the point of their marshmallow world. I mean, that's kind of the thing. And the Scott Barnes contour palette, I've always liked that palette. I think he did a really good job with it. Once I get the Glamazon eyeshadow palette, I will certainly review it for you guys. And I think that's it. Did I go through everything? I think that's everything. Okay. Thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it. We are getting towards the, are we in the middle? Towards the middle, towards the end of Feisty Festivus? I don't know. I've lost count. But I appreciate you tuning in all the time. I'm sure you're not tuning in every day. If you are, thank you so very much. That's incredibly kind. It's gonna be weird when we get to January and I'm only, you know, doing like 2 or 3 of these a week. So, but anyway, thanks again for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Hope to see you in another video really soon. Bye.